Hi everyone, welcome to the third episode of Nostos, your journey back home. I am truly grateful that this episode, particularly this one, has found your way. Maybe you're here because you're searching for answers or simply curious. But whatever brought you here today, I hope this conversation brings you a little more clarity and a deeper sense of peace within yourself. So, let's get started. Why am I here? I don't mean physically. And if you've watched the previous episodes, you already know that I love using metaphors to explain my ideas. So, anyway, I mean the question we've all asked ourselves at some point, in myself included. Why am I here? Why does my life matter? Why do some people seem to know exactly where they are going, while others spend years feeling lost? Why can two people live through similar experiences but build completely different lives? And these questions aren't modern ones. They have followed humanity, I don't know, thousands of years. Philosophers, scientists, psychologists, even religions have tried to answer all of them. And most of us still find ourselves searching for them, searching for purpose, searching for meaning, searching for something that finally makes life feel complete. But what if we've been looking in the wrong place? Because most people believe that purpose is something waiting to be discovered, as if somewhere in the world there is one perfect career, or one perfect relationship, or one perfect opportunity, even one perfect path to find it. And so everything will finally make sense. But that's not how it works. We keep searching, we change jobs, we move to different cities, we end relationships, we begin new ones, then we chase success, always believing the next thing will finally give my life meaning. So if this resonates with you, then stay with me until the end of this video. Now, have you ever noticed something? Have you ever wanted something so badly, worked incredibly hard for it, and finally achieve it? And then a few years or months later, you find yourself asking, and now, what's next? My glass is empty again and again. If success creates purpose, why do so many successful people still feel empty? If money creates meaning, why do so many wealthy people continue searching? If recognition completes us, why does praise fade so quickly? So, according to Nostos, purpose is not a destination waiting to be found. It is a garden waiting to be cultivated. And that is an important difference, because if purpose is something hidden, you spend your life searching. But if purpose is something cultivated, you spend your life creating. Does that make sense? So every decision, every value you choose, every conversation, every difficult moment you refuse to waste, all of this gradually begin shaping a meaningful life. Purpose is not one extraordinary decision. It is a thousand of ordinary decisions, but decisions made with intention. And that raises another question. If purpose is something we build, what exactly are you building it from? Think about that. What exactly are you building it from? The answer is simple: our experiences. The experiences, not only the joyful ones, but the painful ones too. Especially the painful ones. Because experiences by themselves don't automatically have meaning. We give them meaning. Right? So now imagine two people who lose their jobs on the same day. One sees it as a proof they have failed. The other sees it as an opportunity to rethink the life they truly want. So you see, the same event, two completely different futures, two completely different ways of seeing the situation. What changed? Not the circumstance, but the interpretation. And that's what I want you to start thinking about. How to integrate those values into your life. Another example would be, imagine two children growing up in similar families, and years later, let's say one carries resentment and the other one carries compassion. Again, the same event in the same family, the same parents. Different meaning, different life. Which one do you want to choose? And if we go deeper into it, we can find meaning in the simplest moments in our lives. Like washing the dishes, making the bed, brushing your teeth. Because it's funny, but because experiences by themselves don't automatically have meaning. Again, we give them meaning. So yes, you can create a meaningful life by brushing your teeth. Why? Because it is not only what happens to us that shapes our lives, it is the meaning we create from what happens. I'll say that again. It is not only what happens to us that shapes our lives, it is the meaning we create from what happens. There is always, 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 always something good, even in the worst case scenario. The meaning becomes the story we tell ourselves. And over time, our stories becomes our identity. So maybe the most important question here is not what happened. Maybe it is, what story have I been telling myself about what happened? No matter what you're going through right now. Because the stories can become prisons. Or they can become bridges. One story says, I wasn't enough, and another says, I survived something that taught me resilience. One story says, I always fail. Another says, I've learned how to begin again. The facts may remain exactly the same, but the meaning changes everything. And this is where Gnosis begins. Gnosis isn't about pretending painful experiences never happened. It is not about forced optimism. And it is certainly not about denying suffering. That's not the purpose. It is about returning to your experiences with new understanding. Returning to the moments that shaped you, not to relieve them, but to see them differently. Because when understanding changes, our relationship with the past begins to change. And when our relationship with the past changes, our future changes too. And this is why so many people feel lost. Not because they lack intelligence. Actually, most of them are very intelligent. Not because they lack talent. Because they have confused achievement with meaning. Achievement can be measured, meaning cannot. Achievement impresses other people. Meaning transforms the person living it. Achievement asks, what have I accomplished? While meaning asks, who am I becoming? And those are very different questions. Well, if you are feeling lost today, maybe you don't need a completely different life. Maybe you need a different understanding with the life you already have. Maybe the answer you're searching for won't arrive all at once in one video I'm recording here. Probably not. Maybe they will emerge one moment of awareness at a time. One honest conversation. Just one. Look at you. Look at yourself in the mirror and be honest with yourself. One act of forgiveness. Can you forgive yourself? Purpose is not found in the future. Meaning isn't hidden somewhere waiting for you. Your actions become aligned with your values. And every time you choose growth instead of avoidance, every time you decide that your past will become a source of wisdom rather than a permanent definition of who you are, everything changes. So tonight, I don't know what's timing there. Anyway, I'd like to leave you with a few questions, but I don't want you to answer them immediately. I want you to reflect on them. Questions to carry with you along the week or until the next episode. First one, when do you feel most alive? What values do you refuse to compromise? What experiences have shaped you the most? And last one, what story have you been telling yourself that no longer serves the person you are becoming? Purpose isn't waiting for you. Meaning isn't something you discover, because both are created every single day through the way you choose to live, through the way you choose to love, through the way you brush your teeth. So I'm pretty sure that you'll never brush your teeth in the same way again. Jokes aside, the way you choose to understand, the way you choose to return to yourself. And that is Nostos. All right, thanks a million for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.